Hello and good morning everyone to the D2CL Chinese playoffs sponsored by Twitch here in the Joy Digital Studios. I am Durka, joining me Scant. I'll get to him in a little second because we've got a couple of best of threes here that are going to be pretty interesting. First up, VG against EHOME. Later on, IG against LGD. All of these teams are fighting for one spot to go to that D2CL LAN finals. Let's see who gets that spot, who can battle their way through. We'll head over to the draft and now I can welcome in Scant. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing pretty well this morning, and yeah, using a new mic as we tested before. Seems like everything's going well.
Yeah.
And yeah, interested to see EHOME first banning that Storm Spirit. It seems like the rising trend in China is that teams that don't prioritize picking the Storm will always ban it at the start of the draft. So we saw that happening in a couple of games yesterday, and I checked, and EHOME have only run the Storm once this month, and they lost that game. So I suppose it's not a hero they want to go for, so they just ban it out right away and make sure that Super can't get his Storm Spirits, or Hal can't. Actually, I think Hal's been playing it more than Super for Vici Gaming. But either way, yeah, there's not going to be a Storm in this game. And a week ago, these two teams played in the group stages of Dota 2 Champions League, and they actually split the series 1-1. So maybe a bit surprising for some people, since the bets are sort of 80-20 in VG's favor today.
I think one of the bigger things is that VG, they sort of secured themselves that top 4 spot. So I don't know if they were, super trying hard in all of their games over the last week or so. But I just feel like VG are one of the hardest teams to read and definitely one of the hardest teams to draft against. They've got such a great hero pool across all of their players. I think Ice is probably the epitome of that. You never know what he's going to be playing in that offlane role. He could play absolutely anything.
That's true. I mean, ROTK's hero pool in the offlane is probably a bit less diverse, but some of the heroes that ROTK does well, and he does really well, and especially that Phoenix recently, he's been playing a superb offlane Phoenix. And in fact, I think the Phoenix is one of the most picked heroes at the moment in China for all of these teams. I was having a look before the game started at sort of which heroes these teams have been picking, and both of these two teams have picked Lion much more than any other hero so far this month.
Oh, really?
So I guess an advantage that EHOME get the Lion this time. It seems to be the preferred support at the moment. I mean, we spoke a lot about Vengeful Spirits and Lion. Venge gets banned in this game, but even if it's not, Lion's the one that's getting picked the most right now, actually, in China, and Lion's the one doing the most work. It's for Vici Gaming, they've got 14 wins and 1 loss with Lion, whereas for EHOME, they only have 5 wins and 7 losses, so maybe not as superb of a record for them, but still the hero that they want to get, definitely.
Is it really that nuts? Because I've been, watching Chinese Dota and thinking, okay, Silencer and AA, they're like the standout supports, but I guess because Lion has always been there, like from the start of the year, it was that top support pick. It's kind of fallen off in Europe, and maybe you don't really notice it anymore in China.
Yeah, the other thing is that not all of the teams prioritize Silencer and AA, or some of them prioritize one and not the other. Whereas every single team plays Lion. All the Chinese teams play Lion. But like I said, it's even though it's the most picked support for pretty much all of the Chinese teams, some of them do a whole lot better than the other ones with it. So it's not going to be clear that the team with Lion is an advantage. And look at this, Vici Gaming picking up the Lina, FY drafting that for himself, no doubt. And there's the AA you're referring to as a response, but do you remember the last time we saw FY playing Lina?
Yeah, he went like 14-0 or something. No, it wasn't that bad. It was like 9-2-4, something like that.
No. At the end of the game, he had 15 kills. He had 15, 3, and like 12 assists, and he was the third highest net worth. It was totally ridiculous, and he was playing support, by the way. They didn't like switch roles.
No.
He played support and just like got everything. And this time he's got a Shadow Demon to set up for him, so I think it's gonna go even better.
The full-on red draft here from VG Gaming. Shadow Fiend Axe, they're denied the Venge by EHOME, but Lina, Shadow Demon, this is a combination we haven't seen in quite some time. We've seen Lina a lot in Europe, solo mid. In China, you kind of pair it up with the Rubik and run around like that. Shadow Demon just doesn't see any play nowadays, but if you're able to purge up Troll and kite him around, maybe make some illusions of Axe if you want to try and mess things up for the opponent, there are lots of options you do have with that Shadow Demon. He's also great up against heroes like AA and Lion. You get hexed or hit by the Ice Blast, you disrupt that target, you save them for 2.5 seconds, and then they turn things back around on you.
Yeah, I think the Shadow Demon ultimate against the farm troll, very, very good, because trolls can't really buy Lincolns.
Yeah.
They buy BKBs and then it just goes through it. But also, as you say, it sets up well for everything. It sets up for the Lina stun. sets up for the Axe call. You can even use Shadow Demon Disruption to set up for the SF ulti, I think. I mean, it won't be like absolutely perfect because you're not sure exactly where the real hero will reappear. But certainly a hero that's fallen off a lot, but we can definitely see reasons for why it might be picked, especially in this draft.
That's a very good point. I actually remember now. Shadow Demon. We used to see a little bit of Shadow Demon, Dazzle, and Axe as an aggressive tri-lane. The disruption into Call, and then obviously the heal bomb on top of those illusions. You can take down almost any hero in the laning phase with that combo. While EHOME, they go back for the Faceless Void. Good with, pairing up with that Ancient Apparition. You've got the Ice Blast into Chrono. But their fifth pick, do you go for something like an Invoker to try and turn the combo around on VG? Do you try and find these solo pickoffs? Because once VG get the mech on Shadow Fiend, Blink on Axe, they're going to be pushing into your towers pretty hard.
Yeah, it's definitely a worry for eHome. But we saw yesterday, I feel, was it Newbie versus LGD? I think it was, where June was playing that Void, and we said that he needed to keep hitting good Chronospheres and then they'd win the game, and he just did. He just kept hitting good Chronospheres and they did win that game, and we didn't expect Newbie to win that game, but they did. So sure, I mean, it might be true that VG Gaming strategy looks threatening in terms of how it could group up and push. But you have a Faceless Void, which, if he catches a good ulti, you've got an AA ulti, you've got Troll ulti to make him attack faster. Maybe Troll can attack from range. So, I, a lot of the time when I see this kind of lineup, I feel like a lot is going to depend on the initiation. And on the one hand, you've got an Axe who can initiate, maybe Lino or Shadow Demon, depending on how farmed they get. On the other hand, you've got, again, potentially Lion, depending on how farmed he gets, but it's mostly the Void. And I think that's what we're going to have to watch when it gets to the mid and late game in this game. Are the Chronospheres good or are they bad? Because very often, especially when Void's against a hero like Shadow Fiend, if you can Chrono the Shadow Fiend, all of his farm means nothing because he can die inside the Chrono. If you can't Chrono the Shadow Fiend, then it doesn't matter who else you Chrono because the Shadow Fiend's just going to do too much.
Yeah. Now, VG, they're thinking along the same lines as me. They banned out the Invoker. They don't want that extra nuke potential coming from global range. But what do they pick up themselves? Looking at what? Axe offlane, potentially in an aggro try with Lina and Shadow Demon. But definitely the Lina and SD will be roaming around looking for kills. So they want 3 self-sustaining core heroes on their solo lanes. Axe solo offlane, Shadow Fiend solo mid, and then Slark? I don't know, Slark against AA doesn't really work. But you want something that can fight with your SF and Axe and push into towers.
I have a feeling they might pick an offlaner. They have been running Burning on the Axe quite a bit recently.
True.
Of course,
But
yesterday
VG,
Burning's
though.
Axe game went terribly, but that wasn't because of the Axe, right? That was because Faith got. Wait.
This is VG, not IG.
This is VG, not IG. I'm just being a moron. Sorry. Have VG been running?
Ice, Axe. That's what I'm trying to think now.
I think they have. Yeah,
I don't see how playing. I don't see how playing
right.
Axe.
Okay, so just ignore everything I just said. That was ridiculous. I did only wake up an hour ago, but
We forgive you. Well, I do.
Okay, and yeah, so how could play the Quap? I think that makes a lot more sense. And Isis will play his Axe. And then, yeah, you're right. The question is, do they go aggressive tri lane or is it just an off lane? Because Queen of Pain certainly doesn't need supports in that safe lane. I think she can do pretty well against the Void on her own.
Yeah, definitely, and they keep up with the red theme. 3 very red heroes to begin with. Shadow Demon, he's a bit purpley, but he's got the red fire. Then Queen of Pain, yeah, we can go with this. EHOME now with their 5th pick. Faceless Void, off lane more likely than not. Troll safe. AA and Lion as their 2 supports. Now they're looking for a mid hero. You can throw Troll into the mix at mid, but against an SF, it's not really where he's going to excel. You want him to get that early farm, dip into the jungle a little bit, get the AA to sit on the lane and hit level 6. So their mid hero, a Puck wouldn't be too out of place here, I feel. You go in with the early blink, Dream Coil people down, then you land the Chrono, but Venomancer mid? Against the Shadow Fiend, nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, Venomancer is a difficult hero to lane against early on in the game. I'm not sure if you're suggesting because of the Venom's wards it can give the SF more souls. I suppose that's a concern, but SF's pretty weak and squishy and can get harassed down, can get poisoned. Certainly Venomancer deals a lot of damage, combines very well with Ancient Apparition. That's sort of like a classic pub combo, I guess you could say. Because the Venomancer's poison, the ulti can't kill you on its own. But if you've got AA with Aghanim Scepter, or just maybe even without Aghanim Scepter, hits the ulti at the same time, well, that's going to kill a lot of people. They both combine with the Void well as well. And we've seen a lot of Venos in the mid lane in the Western scene in the last few days, actually. It's something that's become quite popular. So I feel like Venomancer is another one of those heroes, just like Zeus or Death Prophet, that people took a while to realize just how much damage output it has. But if you look at the end of a game, if you go check Dota buff or something for the full damage output of a hero, you will often see that a core Venomancer does more damage than anyone else in his team. And it sounds weird when there's like a Void or a Troll or something, but if he ends up getting that Aghanims and ulting in several fights, the amount of overall damage that he's contributing is very significant. And of course, there's also just the benefit of having wards everywhere, poisoning people, meaning that people like Axe, people like Shadow Fiend won't be able to blink around very easily.
Well, I was just looking at the laning phase and thinking, like, like you said, the Veno Plague Wards, you can't really level them up straight up. So you kind of have to go for Poison Sting and Venomous Gale as your first couple of levels, or you go the route where you hold skill points, and you wait until those Plague Wards are up to level 2 or level 3 even. And that's where Veno really does start coming into his own. He can control the lane so well. We've seen it from Yoki and a couple of other CIS players where they do excel on this Venomancer. They maybe don't do very well very early on in the lane, they lose out a little bit here and there, but once they get those level 3 Plague Wards, they're denying, they're out-hitting, they're harassing, and there's no way you can actually lane against it. You have to move back, you have to go into the jungle, you have to go and hide.
Yeah, so I think that's a reasonable choice would be to just save the points here. But some Venoms actually like to not max the Serpent Wards early, and I guess if you're potentially going to gang into the Shadow Fiend, maybe taking the two types of poison instead. But you're absolutely right. The level 1 wards are actually going to help the Shadow Fiend more than they help the Venomancer.
Yeah.
So probably we won't see Venomancer spamming level 1 wards. That would be quite surprising for me.
Well, overall, ISS on his offlane Axe heading up to the safe lane trial in the EHOME with DDC playing the AA, Lanham on the Lion, and ZYF playing that Troll Warlord. While Super's mid Shadow Fiend will fight up against Inflame's Venomancer. Not seeing the skill leveled up just yet from Inflame. And then down on bot lane, FY Lina with Fenrir on the Shadow Demon. While How will be playing the Queen of Pain against ROTK's Void. Let's see what he can do this game. Chronos, like you're saying in the draft, pretty much have to be on point. But if you try and focus down the SF, there's still the Queen of Pain. The last pick from VG can cause a lot of damage if she's left alone in fights.
And do you think Hal will follow the new trending Queen of Pain build with the Shadow Blade? Or is he going to go for the more old school kind of Queen of Pain build where you just get, I don't know, Orchid, BKB, or Aghanims, Hex, those kind of things?
Who was it yesterday that... It was on Newbie, wasn't it? It was...
Yeah. It was Moo, I think.
Moo, yeah. So we've not seen it from VG yet, I don't think. Maybe in another tournament, but I've not seen it in the D2CL where they've gone for the Shadow Blade after Orchid build. Last hit-wise, Queen of Pain doing... well on this bot lane. She's basically got free farm up against the Faceless Void. RTK finding a couple of last hits while Ice struggles up on top. Then the mid lane, Shadow Fiend 3 for 0, Veno 2 for 1. He's doing a little bit better than I expected on this mid.
Yeah, I'm just looking around trying to figure out which lane I think First Blood will happen in. I think the most likely person to die First Blood is probably Ice.
Yeah.
If you look at the matchups. I mean, right now he's okay because the Lion's not there and he knows it. And in fact, his ward's going to help him because Lanham's trying to like sneak up on him, and it's just never going to work because of this ward. But if they were to get a smoke or just catch him when he's too deep, those three heroes with Chilling Touch, they definitely kill Axe early on.
Yeah, definitely. Once they hit level 2 on these two supports as well, you've got Earth Spike and Hex. The Vortex, I'm actually wondering what DDC goes for. Do you go for the Vortex to just slow down Ice to allow you to catch up? Or do you go for the Cold Feet to give you that extra stun? I guess it's situational depending on whether Lanham gets into position. He's got boots, so he could potentially get in there with the Hex first, but it's going to be difficult. The runes being guarded here, one apiece. Lanham with a DD, while Bounty down on bot for Fenrir.
And I think Lanham will have realized that Ice has spotted him with a ward at this point. Is he just guarding the DD for the Venomancer?
I'm not sure. See, I was wondering this. The Bounty rune at bot, pretty obvious that the Shadow Demon's going to just take it and run back down to that bot lane. But Lanham, he's got this choice. If he takes the DD, he goes up top and tries to go and kill Ice. Takes the DD, goes mid, leaves the DD for Venomancer, but you don't really want to leave the lane.
This is what he was waiting for. Look, he sent himself a smoke. This is what I was talking about, because he knows that Ice has that ward. Although he could go mid even. He could probably gang either. Yeah, he's going to go for the same route he's or he's changing his mind.
He's not quite sure. Where's the lane going to meet, though? Because of these Plague Wards? Well, because of this one in particular. The creeps are going to stop here. So Shadow Fiend's going to be perfectly fine at mid. Lanham's still going to go for it, though. Smoked up, Hex level 1. With the DD, maybe they can do it. They don't. Okay, they don't even have mana for Gale. They've got to wait now for Inflame. Slowly but surely regenning this mana. And this looks like it's a little bit of wasted time. Lanham, smoke wears out, places the sentry just to make sure there's no observer ward scouting him out, but he doesn't know about the one up here on the cliff.
Yeah, I want to say that Lanham initially sent that smoke because he wanted to gang ISS, and then he saw the lane was pushing and he thought, okay, maybe I'll try gang Super instead. Because I feel like he maybe doesn't know about the ward they have on the rune, but he's got to have some sense that there's some kind of vision. Because ISS was moving back systematically every time he moved in at the start of the game.
Yeah,
looking at the CSs, Shadow Fiend, Queen of Pain, Troll all doing well. Venomancer not so much. Venomancer's pretty far behind, and Venomancer, is he gonna die?
Well, 2 raises might be able to take him down. DDC dropping low, but Super missing the long-range raise there as the turnaround comes out. Hex from Lanham onto FY, but Inflame, you know, this is the trouble with Venomancer mid. You need levels. Early on, your laning presence isn't that strong because of the build. Ice. The 2-man call, setting it all up for FY. They're going to get Lanham here with one more. No more right clicks from Ice. This is turning out to be really awkward. As the Soul Catcher will land, another stun down from FY. Inflame will finally fall as the support Lina takes first blood.
Yeah, and that rotation from the offlane Axe, I mean, sometimes you see early on Battle Hunger doing work, but an offlane Axe with just boots running to the mid lane and being able to walk into 2 heroes and call them both, it's pretty impressive. But yeah, as you said, Lina gets the first blood, and we should keep our eye on that because we know that FY, when he starts getting gold in the support Lina, very quickly stops being a support.
Well, down on bot, How, like you were saying, doing very well in terms of last hits. RTK, he got 2 last hits very early on, like within the first minute and a half, he got 2 creeps. And then over the past 3 minutes or so, he's got 1. He's got 1 creep. How, putting on the pressure here with the level 2 Shadow Strike. Mid, Inflame, this is where he starts, you know, actually winning this lane. Level 3 in Plague Wards is where he can start harassing, zoning, denying as much as he can, like that. There's very little that Super can do to actually find last hits. While up on top, Ice slowed down, the cold feet. I don't know, is it enough? One more right click? Whoa. ZYF with the max damage. Even
yeah, Phase Boots giving them that little bit of extra damage and that little bit of extra capacity to chase. So Ice is the first to go down for his team, but it wasn't actually first blood. It was only after he had rotated the mid lane and made his team first blood, so reducing the importance of his death indirectly. But yeah, the safe lane Queen of Pain, something that's not spoken about as much is, you know, we talk about how it's being run as more of a scaling hero than before. But we don't often talk about the fact that when you run the safe lane Queen of Pain, you don't need supports. I mean, you're against offlane Void here, for example, you can just dominate it on your own, and that frees up your supports to move around a lot, whereas the supports on EHOME are slightly less free to move around. Sure, Troll can handle his own, but... Oh, hang on, is RTK in trouble here?
Looks like he might be. He's got Time Walk and there's no stun, so he should just be able to jump himself away. Now How blinks forward, but Inflame lands the Gale down onto him. Queen of Pain taking the right clicks as Battle Trance is turned on, but Sonic Wave! RTK turned around to try and fight, but into that high level Queen of Pain, Inflame gonna regret his decision too. Hasted Super cleans up House as VG are now 3 for 1, taking these kills on core heroes.
And How actually missed the Scream of Pain. Somehow, like when the Void time walked away, he scramped nothing, and then he blinked in, and I wonder if EHOME were like, he wasted Scream, he's blinked in, we gotta fight, and just not thinking not thinking about the Sonic Wave, which is really the key thing to worry about in that situation.
Like Soul Catcher, Sonic Wave. We went over, you know, the Shadow Demon Lina combo, the Shadow Demon Axe combo, Shadow Demon Shadow Feet. We went over every single combo, but we didn't think, or we didn't talk about, actually, as Super gets hexed up in mid. They've got the Gale as well. Turns around to get a couple of raises onto Lana. Might find the kill. In fact, he will. And now fights up in Flame. Does Super actually die? Takes 2 for nothing. As the rotation comes in, Super says, okay, I've got level 4 raises. I'll take you on.
Yeah, and this is a game that's not starting well for EHOME. The value that they're getting is almost exclusively on their Troll at the moment. And we've seen what ZYF can do. He's a player that can certainly carry his team. He's a very impressive up-and-coming player in China. You know, he's been around for a while, but he's never been seen as sort of a top level player, I think, and more he's proving himself as that kind of player. But he's gonna have quite a lot of heavy lifting to do to, at least initially in this game, where everyone else is struggling, all the other lanes are going badly.
Well, back to that Queen of Pain Shadow Demon. You've got the disruption to the Soul Catcher, but then it's the Soul Catcher mainly comboed up with Scream and Sonic Wave. You're just amplifying all of this magic nuke damage. Who can survive from EHOME? Absolutely no one. Venomancer is not a tanky hero. His stat gain is pretty poor across the board. His main strength comes from pushing with Plague Wards, controlling the lane now, but he's given up a couple of kills to the Shadow Fiend. He's actually, the Veno is 0, 3, and 0. I'm wondering what kind of item builds he goes into. We've seen Arcane Mech, we've seen Blink Ags. You can go utility, you can go team fight damage, but I'm not sure what he needs in this game.
Or Shadow Fiend with the Shadow Demon and Lina actually in the smoke combo heading up to top lane, and there's an Invis rune on RTK here, but he's not level 6, he doesn't have
Ice with the bait. RTK gets the bash down. Ice might fall and will do, but Light Strike Ray coupled up with 2 raises. How? Screams in. And this looks like it might just be almost a wipe. Venomancer, the last man standing, back towards that mid lane as 4 of his comrades up at top get demolished by that 3-man smoke.
This game's a complete massacre, and you know, we've spoken a lot about comeback mechanics and you know how games swing back and forth, and that can still obviously happen, but psychologically EHOME are getting absolutely destroyed, and it's difficult sometimes to recover from such an early game deficit. It feels really bad.
Ice and how? So they kill 4 up on top and now they kill the 1 mid. The Plague Wards will be annoying to Ice, but he shouldn't be in any real danger of dying here. No, he's got 2 stick charges and that will always be able to turn things around. I'm just looking up top. I was wondering what Super was talking about. Lanham running around. I guess he dodged some raises. Made Super a little bit annoyed. Not too sure.
He ended up running at VG's tier 1. I think Super's like asking him if he's trolling or what he's doing, why he's doing that. And that's what I'm talking about. It's the psychology right now is that VG Gaming are thinking we're crushing these guys, and every time they see a silly move they're wondering what's going on. And on the other hand, EHOME might be stumbling. They might be. I mean, it's very difficult to confront the fact that you've lost a hero every minute of the game, and you've only killed 1 yourself. So there's gonna be another smoke there from the Lion and the Ancient Apparition. I'm not sure where they're smoking to or what they plan to achieve though. Maybe the 2 of them can kill that Lina, but she's level 6. Is someone else gonna TP in and help them?
I don't know.
I see her taking one of them out.
I don't know. 1, maybe even 2. If she lands like a 2-man Light Strike Ray, which is pretty hard. First off with the Earth Spike, and you're right. The troll comes in. They will take down FY on that Lina. They finally
because if the troll doesn't come in, she probably gets 1 return kill before she dies.
Well. Super down in the spot lane now. RTK is level 6 and has that Chronosphere. Mid lane in flame. With the Plague Ward spam. Just holding out up against How. But the thing is with the Queen of Pain, she can just blink straight over those wards and go for a kill. 777 health up on the Veno. While Queen of Pain could probably just solo kill. Oh!
Look at Queen of Pain's build.
Drums on the Queen of Pain.
Yeah, and that was actually part of she's going in.
Yeah.
She's gonna make kills.
It was inevitable. Like, it's that easy. Ice Blast is gonna hit, but How gonna smartly TP himself out, won't die to this.
Yeah, this was actually part of ZYF's original pop innovation. It wasn't just the Shadow Blade. Originally it was the drum into the Shadow Blade. I think we're gonna see drum into Orchid here, but maybe we will see the Shadow Blade third after Orchid. And I'm not sure how ROTK went down at the same time, but it looks like there was a disruption, a Lina Stan and a Laguna Blade involved.
Spells
maybe some Shadow Razors.
Spells were cast and people died. There's very little they can do. DDC, unfortunately though, is level 6 now. Ice. Chasing him down in the dire jungle. I'm not sure. Okay, well, maybe you are sure about this. Even with the bash, Ice Blast is launched. Now, do you have to? You've got a chrono here. You actually have to chrono this. Okay, maybe not. Inflame comes in and they finally get a kill on that offlane axe.
Ice bought his Blink Dagger before he died, and if you just look at the net worths, it's starting to go that same direction. When we see VG Gaming dominate games like this, you look at the net worth and you can often find that very early in the game, it's a whole bunch of their heroes at the top, and Look, Lena's already creeping in there. She's getting pretty close to the Venomance in terms of her net worth. And all 3 of the cores on VG Gaming, right up in the top 4.
Yeah, I kind of thought Ice was a little tankier than he actually was. I guess with Troll, he's still got a lot of damage. He's got Yasha and Phase Boots switching to that melee form and just hitting him down. Ice Blast helps a lot along with the Veno. We still haven't seen EHOME actually go and take a team fight. They've been picked off, they've been outplayed and outmaneuvered by VG for the first 15 minutes or so. But once EHOME start grouping up, we'll actually see the main strength of their squad. We'll see the Poison Nova, the Ice Blast, the Chrono, all of the combination of their skills. We haven't seen a single one yet.
Well, we're first going to need Inflame to level his Poison Nova before he can use it.
That's very true.
And I'm wondering at what point he's going to take it. Does he take it next level at 9? Now that he's got what he needs?
Blink forward, Ice finds ZYF, the disruption down. But Troll's still surviving through this. He needs a little more damage before he can take it down, and Ice can't pop it out. Super is still around though. Fenrir
with double damage.
Yeah, Fenrir galed up. DDC and Inflame though need to start backing up. The cavalry's incoming as Hal blinks himself forward. Okay. He's going to try and find DDC. TP's out. Sonic Wave. Yeah, they've got enough. They've got enough damage.
I mean, I don't like the idea of calling games prematurely, but this game, it really has that feeling that, maybe in the next 5 or 10 minutes after 1 or 2 more of these kind of fights that EHOME just call it. It really has that feeling. Even though they're still tier 1 mid up, it's feeling extremely one-sided already.
One-sided, yeah, that's pretty much an understatement. RTK struggling to buy treads, and that's Yules from Super. A couple of razors gonna scare off RTK. The blink call misses as Void lands the Chrono on their heads. TP reaction comes in. RTK, the dunk not thrown out as he jumps himself out. Oh, okay, but FY comes in with a long-range Dragon Slave. Lanham throws out the Earth Spike, and now he's in trouble. Yules off cooldown in 5 seconds. He's in range now. There's no way Lanham's escaping here. Yules up. No. Lanham. Okay. He jukes into the fog. That little tree there, just giving him enough time to escape. Also, Tranquil Boots.
Yeah, Tranquil Boots doing a lot of work there. But again, what are EHOME meant to do now? How do they position such that they don't get engaged on it? There we go. Lanham's caught now.
Light Strike Array and dead. Ice has been trying to Culling Blade someone for the past 5 or 6 minutes. Just can't get it off. ZYF chases down FY. The Light Strike Array perfectly timed and perfectly placed as Inflame called up. Ice Blast will not land on too many people. Just Ice and FY, the 2 lowest HP heroes there. Will they die? Yes, they will.
Yeah, they've got Poison over. Yeah, that's the combo.
FY escaping with very little HP is now Super. Jumped up by RTK. Uses himself so he doesn't get caught in that cold feet. But this is okay. This is gonna be big. Requiem back onto them. Bashed up. Can't get the raise onto ZYF as Fenrir saves his teammate. It looked like
that's certainly a way back into the game for EHOME is to get big kills, like on, for example, the Shadow Fiend. This godlike Shadow Fiend after 15 minutes. They kill him, they're gonna get a pretty huge reward. It's just failing to do so there. In the meantime, Hal's getting a tower on the other side of the map, and he's got an entire orchid, I think. Does he have does he have the entire orchid in his stash?
Yes. 16 minutes in, drums, treads, and orchid.
Oh, I just hope he buys the Shadow Blade next.
He's got to.
For my own entertainment, I don't know if it's the best buy here. It's certainly not a bad buy here. When you're far ahead, it's a really good way to abuse your opponents because they can't afford the true sight.
FY with Earn and going into that Yules could be a 4 staff. But I think Yules here, just against the Faceless Void, against that AA and Veno, you kind of need that disable. Or self-save. The blink in from Ice calling 2. The Light Strike Array and Sonic Wave coming as well, taking them down instantly. Ice gets zapped by Lanham, but How is on the hunt. Blinking forward, one more Scream, or Orchid and right clicks will be enough to seal the deal. As Inflame hides in the trees.
FY still hunting him. FY doesn't want to give up on this chase. Oh, he's gonna have to give up on this chase.
You can't catch him.
That was... I don't know if it's a deliberate bait, because they had vision. They saw that the gang was coming, and FY sort of allowed 3 people to cluster in the chase for him, getting the axe to call them and making those kills. So it's conceivable that that was a deliberate bait.
How?
Stalking.
Where's How going? He's behind tier 2 looking for DDC and Inflame. Actually, the Venomancer is pretty low on HP, so that's understandable. Is going for that mech build the utility Venno rather than the blink Ags, try and kill everything and destroy shit in team fights Venno.
ROTK's got his chronosphere up, but I mean that's happened many times this game, and okay, he's gonna die now.
Yes, he is. Well, backtracks a raise, but can't backtrack the right clicks and scream from how.
And Super's got an S and Y. I mean, he's running around really fast, and this is an item that I've seen every now and then on Shadow Fiend when the game's just going ridiculously well, like it is right now.
Yeah, it's a great value item. Build up your stats. You can just go in and right click people. Then you're not afraid really too much of the AoE damage coming out of EHOME. You know, if you get nuked, then fair enough. You're baiting out more and more spells.
Well, if he wants that Shadow Blade, he's actually gonna have the whole thing really soon. It feels like it was just a few seconds ago that he finished his Orchid, but look at him, he's got 2,200 gold again.
They're winning team fights. He's getting some big sonic waves down thanks to Ice landing these berserker calls. In fact, Axe nearly has a 4-staff, so super mobility from Ice. While what are we actually looking at from the rest of the team? We've seen Super. FY, we know he's got Urn and that Staff of Wizardry. 4-staff being built up by Fenrir. There's nothing, you know, big or super amazing as How actually goes back for the Aghanims.
Yeah, it's an interesting pickup, I guess. When you're fighting so much, having that short cooldown ulti is going to be really nice, and also the fact that all the enemies are so squishy, being able to deal like half of their HP with one spell, pretty useful thing to be able to do. I think ROTK is dead.
Wait.
What lane?
Yeah, I'm watching RTK get jumped on, then How gets a kill on Inflame, but here's the Requiem. Takes down the Void, Lana with a 2-man Earth Spike. Will try and survive this. I don't know if Ice wants to go back in, because Super certainly does. One more hit. Oh. Close.
I think he might have been able to follow for another right click. The Ray is not quite reaching. But he's got insane move speed actually. Even against that Lion with the Tranquils. The S and Y plus Yule's combo is probably a bit better in terms of move speed.
EHOME now cooped up in their base, hiding behind their tier 3s as the tier 2's going down pretty damn quickly. Shadow Fiend Illusion in the Roche Pit. It could be something that they go for right now as How is still farming in the jungle. He wants his Ags. He's 800 gold away 20 minutes in. And his net worth, you know, you're looking at two heroes with 12,000 net worth at 20 minutes. It's pretty ridiculous. 805 on the Queen of Pain. Shadow Fiend is 11-0-6.
And poor ROTK is the lowest net worth in the game. He's even poorer than his supports. I mean, this is a 082 Faceless Void. And it's almost like some cruel joke that we spoke about how Void has to have a good game and get good chronos, and he has the worst possible game. Yeah, they're calling the game.
That's a good chrono. That's a good chrono, right, guys? In the fountain. Well, VG putting on the style there up against EHOME, taking game number 1 in this best of 3. We'll find out in a couple of minutes whether EHOME can come back and try and turn things around. Well, you never know. You never know. Anything's possible. But stay tuned, guys. We'll be back soon.